G'day, Greg again from tropical North Queensland, out on my balcony. You might hear a few cars go by and what have you. A Currajong bird I can hear in the background, you might be able to hear them. Don't know how much the mic's picking up, but how are you going? Been a little while. Last time you heard from me I was in Melbourne and on the 37th floor, which was pretty interesting. So here I am back down to earth, so to speak, on a little bit closer to the ground on the second floor. A little bit more in my comfort zone. But yeah, interesting flight. Actually, I did hear of an aeroplane where the pilot was flying and his wings fell off. He managed to save the situation by bending down quickly, picking the wings up off the floor and putting them back on his shirt. So that was good. That worked pretty well, yeah. Which brings me to my subject today, laughter, humour. Especially if you're on your own, you know. I always think if you're on your own, okay, you're not having a lot of interaction with people. Sometimes we miss out on a bit of humour. I mean, we can watch comedians on the TV and that sort of thing, but what about our attitude? Are we open to laughing? Are we open to humour, or are we sort of closed up and thought, woe is me, this is my life, I'm not that happy? And sometimes it's good to talk to yourself, you know, having a conversation across the table. Ask yourself some questions. I guess one of the questions is, what are some of the things that keep you awake at night? And whatever they are, maybe it's trying to deal with those. That's a good way to find out, you know, if you are sort of feeling a bit down, to find out what's really troubling you, the things that keep you awake at night. And you can do something about that. We can all do something about our situation. It depends on how we look at it, doesn't it? But humour is a big thing. But I had a good trip back on the plane. Pretty cold in Melbourne. Nice to be back. Played a bit of tennis. The thing I like about the tropics is it's raining today. You know, you often think, oh, it's just sort of sunny days and that in the dry season, which it is now. Dry season and wet season. The wet season here is probably November through to February, something like that. So for 8 months of the year, you get some really nice weather with occasional rain. But even if it's raining like this, it has its own special sort of qualities. So it's not all just blue sky in the dry season. One of the important things is, I suppose, when we're especially on our own, is to have a purpose. Have a purpose. And I was making a coffee this morning, and I made brekkie. You know, like I mentioned before, I cooked some. Here's a plane just sort of coming in. We've got an international. You may or may not be able to hear it, international airport here. So it's a pretty big sort of tourist area. And I love seeing people enjoy themselves. Just to digress a bit, it's fantastic walking down to the Esplanade beach area, and everybody's in a good mood. They're all on holidays. That's what I love. But yeah, all good. So yeah, the important thing is that you enjoy what you're doing at the moment. Yeah, I was making a coffee and I was sort of hurrying, and I was cooking some poached eggs and some mushrooms and what have you. And I was sort of hurrying, and I thought, why am I hurrying? Why don't I just take my time, go slow, and just enjoy it, which I did. And it's funny what a difference it makes, actually. You know, we're always thinking of the next thing that we want to do, but really, why don't we just enjoy what we're doing right then? That maybe leads to the next thing. In my case, enjoying brekkie. But you know, I found myself thinking of other things. Okay, what I'm going to do later, this and that, instead of just being in that moment, which is pretty important, I think. And it's one of those things that we often just take for granted. But try it one day. Just be in the moment, whatever you're doing. It could be something very straightforward, something really mundane. But even in the mundane, if you concentrate on what you're doing at the time and just sort of not think of the next 10 things you're going to do, it makes a big difference. It's funny how our mind sort of, races ahead. So I encourage you all just to, relax. Even if you're doing the dishes, now that's pretty mundane. But, we hurry through it because we want to get onto something that's not mundane. But, really, the things like that, doing the dishes or tidying the house and those sort of things, if you do them slowly and you think to yourself, okay, I'm just going to stay in this moment. It's funny how the mind actually reacts. It's kind of relaxing in a way. I've got a dishwasher. I suppose I could throw them in the dishwasher. But, I just sort of enjoy tidying up, and I enjoy the end result, actually, of having sort of a clean kitchen bench. It's I had a friend who used to have a lot of takeaway pizza. The pizza boxes were sort of piled up on the bench, and I don't know whether he's sort of, a little sort of sculpture piece, the Leaning Tower of Pizza, something like that. Maybe that's what he was doing. But I thought, it doesn't take much just to, get rid of that. Instead of things building up, I think actually that's what happens. It's one of these things, you leave something out and then that stays in, and the next thing. But, at the end of the week, you've got all this sort of clutter and stuff around, and it's a bit claustrophobic. That's how it feels to me. So I've done it. We all do it. I'm not being judgmental here. Jeepers, I'm as bad as the next person. But I'm trying to teach myself just to, okay, if I take something out, I just put it away. I don't wait a week. And I find that great. I'm enjoying that. I did say I was going to bring this next video to you from the northern beaches here, but the weather's not good. Sitting under a palm tree when it's pouring raining, it might be nice for some, but no, I think it's sort of, probably a little bit nicer to be indoors today. Although, if I do go walking and it rains, I really don't care, because it's not that cold rain like Melbourne. Man, oh man, that was cold. Gee, there was, especially when you get the wind chill sort of factor blowing through there, and up in the mountains. When I was visiting my children, it's 5 degrees colder up there, but it was lovely actually, in some respects. Because you didn't get that wind coming through, so it was sort of a crisp cold, which I enjoyed. It's all good, but it's nice to get home. But it's great to visit them as well. We had a great time. So, what's the message today? Laughter. Hey, are you open to a bit of humour? Are you open to not taking yourself or things too seriously? If somebody says something that you don't particularly like, don't take it on board. If somebody disagrees with you, okay, they disagree with you, but that's not the end of the world. It's just it's just our opinion and their opinion. As long as you're respectful when you do disagree with somebody, or somebody disagrees with you, if they're not respectful, well, that can hurt sometimes. But don't take all these things on board. It's one of those things that's important. And interestingly, I noticed on my flight, they make you fill out some forms now, and the weight of the airplane is very important. But it was a strange form. They had very strange questions. Have you ever been divorced? Are you holding on to resentment? Have you had bad relationships in the past? I just ticked yes for all the boxes. I just did all that. And then I get to the gate to board the plane. I hand my little form over, And the attendant says, sorry, but you're carrying too much baggage there. We can't take you today. Yeah, okay, that was a joke. Yes, it was a joke. But I hope you're laughing. If you're not, it's either my joke's bad or come on, we've all got to lighten up. Okay, all right, that's my video for today. Sorry it's taking so long to get out. You have a great day, a great week. Stay happy, stay well, and I'll see you again soon. It's bye from Greg in North Queensland, Australia. All the best. Bye.